Greetings, fellow Pagan Pals. It's Bellarosa here for another episode of My Pagan Pal Crafts and Such, Pagan Pillow Talk edition, where I talk about my experiences as a witch, as a pagan, and other witchy-related topics. Today's topic is on improving your spells, whether you are new to casting spells or have walked around a cauldron once or twice in your lifetime. Spellcasting can be difficult and frustrating because they're unsuccessful. So today I'm going to share with you a few pointers on how you can improve the overall success rate of your spells as well as their potency. So here we go. Number 1, study your spells. It's important for you to familiarize yourself with a spell before you actually try to cast it. Because during casting, all your focus and energy should be on the spell work, visualization, the message that you're trying to send out into the universe. Performing a spell like reading directions for the first time, it can affect the overall outcome of your spell. Now, that's not to say you have to memorize a spell. Ideally, that would be great, but even that can be counterproductive. Like let's say you study a spell and then during the ritual you forget a line and you're trying to remember it. What happened? And you start getting a little frustrated. Why? Because, I think I actually studied this enough. Why can I not remember it? What's going on? And for a brief moment, you're sending out a little bit of negativity, and that can be potentially harmful for your spell. So instead, just try making little notes or bullet points about the spell. And this allows you to engage more deeply with the spell and allows you to open the doors on it and internalize it, which can actually improve your spell. Studying a spell to become familiar with it cannot just help you, but it can help benefit someone else as well, especially if you are asked to perform a ritual for someone. It happens, emergencies come up, it's happened to me before, and when someone you care about turns to you in their moment of spiritual despair, you'll be thankful you took the time to really get to know the spell instead of just winging it. If you're working with a group, try sending out emails on the upcoming spell before everyone gets back together. That way everyone can make a personal connection with it first. You can even write down on an index card the chant, and then before everyone arrives, just give it to them quickly so that they can glance at it. So when they're in circle, things will run a little bit more smoothly. It's all about that flow of positivity. That's what you're really trying to accomplish here when it comes to your spell work. Studying a spell also gives you a chance to question it, to tweak it, and therefore learn from it. If there's a line in a spell that doesn't really sit right with you, maybe you prefer it to rhyme a little bit more, well then change it. Suppose the spell calls for lavender and you have an allergy to lavender or it's just not available for you. Do the research and find the magical equivalent for it. Taking all these elements into consideration can really help to improve the success of your spells and to bring them to life. Number 2, choose objects you connect with. In many ancient religions, there is a heavy emphasis on the use of ritualistic objects, incense, oils, candles, statues, all of which have their own individual and important role in rituals. When it comes to spells, objects help us to associate intent with desired outcome, and finding objects that work with you is important, especially when it comes to spell casting. Here's an example. So a few years ago, I was kind of on this spiritual journey. I just wanted to find something to kind of up my game when it came to my spell casting. So I'm at one of these crystal shops. I decided to buy this crystal, and I've always had them around my altar, but I never really felt that connection with it. I think that influence kind of just came from, my mom and the energy work that is believed to be connected with crystals. So anyways, I bring it home and I just relax, stick it on my forehead, and I just briefly close my eyes. I lay down, and moments later, I get this flash of purple and pink and white and all this violet kind of like colors. And in front of that are what looks like people or something. I don't know. I just see like figures of shadows. And I immediately just kind of took it off my forehead. And I was like, wow, there may be something to this little crystal. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's going on my altar. And this crystal is this little itty bitty thing. It's not like this Jugunda rock, like, oh, look what I found. It's something like that. It was just like this tiny little crystal. I don't know what it is or why I had that experience, but I believe that this little crystal helps me to achieve that boost of energy and strength when it comes to my spell casting. Now, I have come across my share of people who are like, do we really need all this stuff when it comes to rituals? I'm going to say, no, you really don't. But it helps. It helps you to make that transition from casual to ritual. It helps us to connect to our past and different traditions and how different ritualistic objects and their meanings have changed through time. It helps us to connect our physical selves with our spiritual selves. In the end, ritualistic objects help us to focus, and that gets an A-OK in my BOS. So corny. Number 3, consider timing. Certain spells are usually carried out during different phases of the lunar cycle. If you wanted to get rid of a bad habit or push a negative influence in your life out, then you would perform the spell during a waning moon. If you wanted to invite love into your life, you would perform that spell during the full moon. Now, with that in mind, I do know witches who don't follow this general guideline. They just cast on their own accord, and that's okay, to each his own. But if you are having problems with successful spell casting, then read up on spell casting and the lunar cycle. Casting a spell during a Sabbath can also help to improve the performance of your spell because of the amount of energy that is thought to be available to harness during these times. Now, timing and spells doesn't just have to do with the when, but it has to do with the how often. Sometimes spells will require you to perform them more than once over the period of months, or they will require you to do them at specific times of the day, or only require you to do them at certain times of the year. Sometimes spells need to be worked on. So be mindful of that and don't just jump straight to frustrations. Number 4, add music and dance. As humans, we naturally latch on to patterns, and that's no different with sound. Adding music during your spell casting can help you to concentrate. It can help you to form rhythmic chanting. It can help you to build up all that energy that you're trying to raise and channel into your spells. So try some background music, maybe something that doesn't have any words, just instrumental, and then go from there. If you're a part of a circle, try adding some drumming. It can start off slowly and soft and then get louder and faster as that energy rises and rises. Essentially, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get all that energy gathered up and charged and then directed into your objective. It's prayer on Red Bull. Dancing and moving about can also help to stir up that energy and put it into your spells. I know it sounds strange, but it's science. Every time we move, we create a flow of energy, and it's amplified in the form of that movement. So if you're having troubles with your spells, you may not be raising enough energy, or your energy is being blocked or misdirected somehow. So, open up and just break out and dance at your altar, in the woods, or even during a circle. As long as you get that energy up and focused and moving, the outcome of your spell can be greatly enhanced. And that about sums it up for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pagan Pillow Talk. If you have any advice you'd like to share about improving your spells, leave them in the comment below. You never know, you can help somebody out one day. And if you like what you saw here today and you want to be kept up to date on the latest episodes, then subscribe now, become a Pagan Pal, like up this video, and I'll see you next time for another episode of My Pagan Pal Crafts and such. Bye!